Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, Dave. Frank from Cleveland. Few things. Barry did drop the bomb when he didn't sign a couple defensive tackles. He could have went out and got like Sue and Sheldon Richardson if he would come back, stop 1-year contracts. They got the money to do it. 2, I'm tired of hearing like Quincy and G. Bush give up on all these players, Grant Delpit, and every week, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy, get rid of that. Change ain't going to do nothing. You need to get rid of Joe Woods and maybe give Dick Lebeau a call to bring him out of retirement or somebody else. But I wouldn't cut nobody until I got a new defensive coordinator and see what his suggestions would be. Thanks for taking my call, Dave. Bye.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Dick LeBeau's a heck of a defensive coordinator, Tim, but he's 85. He's been in the NFL 50-some years. I kind of agree. I think I don't think the scheme they're playing fits the skill set of the players that they have. A name that keeps coming to my mind is Mike Zimmer. And so he is currently the defensive coordinator with Deion Sanders at Jackson State. But he has ties to Kevin Stefanski, was the head coach. Minnesota was a successful NFL head coach and was a hell of a defensive coordinator with Cowboys, the Bengals, the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, that would make a lot of sense. I mean, it's just a question of how committed, how willing, he would be to go back to working in the NFL. I think that would make a lot of sense. And I guess the thing I've seen on Twitter, a lot of people saying, well, maybe a good way to go for the future defensive coordinator is the D'Amico Ryans route, where you're looking for a former defensive player, a guy who knows how to play defense in the NFL and has done it at a pretty high level. I'm not sure where you can find those guys, but that makes me fascinated for where this defensive coordinator search is going to go, because I can't imagine Joe Woods comes back this season. I mean, I thought, the games against the Ravens and Bengals bought him back a little goodwill, because the defense was pretty good those 2 games, but what happened in Miami kind of erased it. I mean, we saw the same issues in that game that we've seen all season. The defense looked uninspired. They were slow to get out of the gate. There were very few adjustments, and I think you kind of nailed it. It's kind of like a round peg into a square peg into a round hole kind of situation with his defense, where you don't know how good these guys truly are, because maybe it doesn't feel like they're being maximized, where they're being forced to play certain roles that they're not quite as comfortable with as opposed to, a coach who's putting them in position to be successful, which it's a buzz phrase, but it's true, is you need to have a flexible scheme, and you need to be able to fit your players into it where they can best be successful. And to go back to the caller's point about defensive tackles, yeah, I think Andrew Berry made a mistake not addressing that in the offseason. Yeah, I think he needs to change his priorities a little bit. I've been on record saying I think he needs to invest in at least one pure nose tackle type, a 330-pound guy who's just going to absorb blocks. And I think that will make the other defensive tackles look better around him. But when it comes to Ndamukong Suh or Sheldon Richardson, I'll just say, it's week 11 of the season. They're still free agents. That, the fact that the teams like the Raiders and the Texans haven't signed them, that those 2 guys are still free agents, I think that tells you what you need to know about where the NFL feels that Ndamukong Suh and Sheldon Richardson are at this point in their careers.